In this video, we are going to take a look at Aaliyah Chavez, the #1 recruit in the 2025 class. I will start on giving you some background, as her story is a little bit different. She's taken a little bit of a different path and a different type of athlete. And then we will break down the contenders, as she has recently narrowed her selection list down from 10 to 6 schools, which includes some traditional powers like South Carolina and LSU and Texas. But Oklahoma is seeking a big recruiting breakthrough, not to mention her local town, Texas Tech. They're on her list as well. But we will get into that. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. Now, when I do these videos on potential prospects, I can't help but think of Gino Auriemma when he was asked about the signing of Ali Zabel and Morgan Shelley.
What do you think about them? And then just what was your goal?
Two best players I've ever recruited in my life. Isn't that what everybody says when kids sign? You know, the two best players I've ever signed in my life. Those kids are going to transform our program. And then reality sets when they get here.
And in much the same way, Aaliyah Chavez will be the best recruit of all time and will allow the planets to align, cause world peace to break out, and transform any program she goes to. Now that I've got the over-the-top hype out of the way, let's talk about Chavez. She is a 5'11" guard from Lubbock, Texas, who averaged 37 points, 10 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 3.5 steals, and 0.9 blocks in her junior high school season. Now, she has a good handle, dribble left hand, right hand, of course, but she has a good shot as well. I've seen the comparison that she is like Chelsea Plum, as she can hunt for her shot, but most seem to think that she will primarily fit into that lead guard position when she goes to university. Slam did a good article on her. Her backstory is interesting. She did not sound like she was very active as a kid for the most part, and then she decided around the 2nd or 3rd grade that she wanted to play basketball as it looked fun, and her dad, who's a trainer, put her through her paces before he would let her play and basically said, I want to see, sport is not all fun and games. You have to put a bit in to get anything out of it. He gives this quote saying, I was just trying to push her to quit and realize that sports was not for her, but she did everything I asked, so I ended up signing her up. So when she played in the 3rd grade, it sounded like she was a tough kid that could steal the ball basically, but did not have a lot of skills. And then her competitive fire really got turned on when she did not make the AAU squad in 4th grade, being told that she was not good enough. She says that was a defining moment for her, saying, I think it was really like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. And man, that is really reminiscent. If you've seen my Chelsea Plum video when she talks in her own words about how a coach told her she wouldn't make it to play college ball, and it seems eerily similar with this. The other thing that seems apparent with Chavez is she appears to have a bit of a chip on her shoulder, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it sounds like she's heard a lot of doubters along the way, and this was mainly for 2 reasons. First of all, she's Mexican, or her heritage is Mexican or Hispanic, and as she says, there are not a lot of Hispanic players in college or the WNBA, so she felt like she always had a lot of doubters.
You think about it, not a lot of Mexican girls make it there, so I'm trying to prove it to all these little Mexican girls that you can do anything. You really can do anything. I'm not the most athletic than anybody. Can jump higher than anybody, so I'm just trying to get faster and trying to prove everyone that this little Mexican girl can do everything.
And then the other thing was she was putting up numbers in Lubbock, Texas, and doubt the quality of play and the location she's coming from. It's just not textbook. Or Lubbock, Texas is not usually the place you find the #1 prospect in the country.
I guess I'm just out here repping my city. That's all I'm trying to do. So coming from Lubbock, you don't see a lot of girls here from Lubbock, so that's all I'm trying to do is rep my city.
Now, reading between the lines, it sounds like her dad, who's a trainer, pushed her hard, and some have questioned the way they have done things, as the traditional route is often to go to Mount Verde Academy or one of those private schools to help develop you, or IMG Academy, where in theory you get better coaching and go against better competition. But to me, it sort of reminds me of Serena Williams and Venus Williams' dad, who he took a lot of heat for not having his kids go on the tour from an early age and get coaching. He's like, no, they'll stay around us and we will develop them. When they get to age, then they will go on tour. And I don't think that's a bad deal versus sending them off to one of the academies. I listened listened to one of her mic'd up games, and the way she interacts with her teammates and runs the floor and talks on the floor, it's great. There was a play early in the game. She threw a bad pass, and straight away she's like, that's my bad, that's on me, and just totally took ownership of it.
Oh, that's me! That's me, that's me, that's me. That's me, that's me.
Not a big thing, but overall good kid, and it's clear why all these schools want to sign her up. And as I mentioned at the start, the other day, she narrowed her list down from 10 schools to 6. So the ones that got cut were Arizona, Ohio State, Southern California, and Tennessee. The lucky 6 that are still on her list include South Carolina, LSU, Texas, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and UCLA. Now, as I said in another recruiting video, I struggle to know what my own teenage daughters are going to do from a day-to-day basis, much less what some top-rated prospect on another continent is going to do, or what's in their mind deciding on what is going to impact what school they choose to ultimately go to. But I will give you some of the comments that she has said in terms of looking for a school and build the case for each of the schools of where she might want to go, and leave it to you to speculate. On choosing a school, Chavez had this to say: the most important thing is to make sure I'm in a place where I have high energy. I don't want a coach that's low energy. I need to make sure that they're going to be there the whole time. I don't want a coach that's just going to be there for 2 years. I want them to be there all 4 years, because that's what I'm getting recruited off of, right? I want to be there all 4 years. Now let's go through the candidates. Texas Tech. They offered her a scholarship when she was in the 8th grade. Their coach is Krista Gerlich, who has been there for 4 years. During that time, Tech has never made the NCAA tournament. Their best finish is a WNIT Super 16 finish in 2022-23 season. If you are a Texas Tech fan, your big hope is she does a Juju Watkins and wants to build her hometown program up from the ground level. UCLA is a bit of an outlier in terms of location, but California is not bad. And Corey Close can recruit. There is no doubt about that. Close does recruit well, so don't count out UCLA. But I would consider the next 4 schools more viable options than Texas Tech or UCLA. First off, Oklahoma. They are obviously building under Jenny Branchak. You could see her fitting very nicely into Branchak's offense, the way they move off the ball and all players are able to shoot and score. It seems like, playing style-wise, a really good fit, and hence why they made the cut. It is always good when Texas and Oklahoma are having recruiting battles, and Texas fans are very excited at the prospect that they are in the mix, because they just recently signed Aaliyah Crump, who's rated number 4, and she's a 6'1" guard. Combining them with Madison Booker, and you have yourself potentially a super team brewing in Texas. But the 2 SEC newbies, Oklahoma and Texas, will need to compete with the old guard SEC, that being LSU and South Carolina. Now, Kim Mulkey is reportedly recruiting Chavez hard, and that's a nothing statement. Of course, they're all recruiting her hard, but Chavez did have this to say: they recruited me very well. Chavez said of LSU, I think I talk to at least an assistant coach every day. They definitely talk to my parents a lot. They're also a winning program, and I'd love to win. Then when she talks about the visit she took there, she says, it was fun. It was definitely different than the other visits. They had all the girls there when I was there, so they were in my photo shoots. This was definitely a different vibe. I like the energy as well. At the photo shoot, it was so high. There was no low energy at all. So if you're an LSU fan, you can hang your hat on that. Now, in terms of South Carolina sells itself. So really, if you want to go there, you can compete. Obviously, they have talent, and get in line and try to earn your spot. And if you do earn your spot, you will be on one of the best teams in the nation and lining yourself up to play in the WNBA, more likely than not. Now it's over to you. Where do you think Aaliyah Chavez is going to land in 2025? Your comments are poison. All is welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.